All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for making it to our next session here. Welcome to our second round of breakout sessions. If you're here, you're in the right place for Scaling Without Sacrificing, How to Grow Your Practice and Keep It Personal with Karen Ward. Karen, if you want to come join us on stage, that would be amazing. Karen is a UK-based nutritional therapist and business coach who has spent over a decade helping practitioners build thriving, sustainable practices without burnout. She's guided hundreds of nutritionists in turning their passion into a profitable, balanced practice, and she's known for her practical, no nonsense approach to business growth. Her coaching programs cover everything from marketing and client acquisition to confidence and business strategy, giving practitioners a clear roadmap to success. She's delivered business training for ANP, CNM, and Genova Diagnostics and the Nutrition Collective, and today she's here to share her expertise with us. Karen is passionate about helping both newly qualified and experienced practitioners create businesses that truly align with their goals, values, and lifestyles. We're so excited to learn from you today. Karen, the floor is yours.
Wow, thank you, Emma. I don't think I've ever had such a fancy introduction as that one. Thank you so much. So I know that there are some people in the audience that already know who I am. Big shout out to you. Hi, guys. But there's a lot of people that haven't come across me before. We haven't crossed paths. So I am Karen and I'm a nutritional therapist, still practicing. Trained at CNM, graduated in 2018, and then went on to the IFM AFMCP course. So I am a business coach to wellness practitioners, and I'm founder of the Practitioner Success Formula Academy. And I have an overarching mission, which is to raise the profile of wellness practitioners and empower you all to build profitable, sustainable businesses with confidence. And I just want to give you a little nudge. Follow me on socials. You'll find me camped out on Instagram most of the time, but you can give me a follow on Facebook if that's where you like to hang out. So definitely give me a follow, and I'm always sharing some valuable content on there too. And I want you to stick around to the end of this session because I have got a really lovely, valuable resource for you to take away today. So we're scaling without sacrifice. That's the topic that we're focusing on today. And some of you are currently running a successful practice and clients are coming in, you're getting results and your diary is full, but maybe your time is maxed out and you're constantly working, yet somehow feeling like growth is impossible and wondering, is this it? Is this what success is supposed to feel like? And some of you are just starting out with your practice, and that's okay. You're going to get tons of value from this session, but you all have one thing in common. All of you started your practice because you love helping people and you want to earn a sustainable income that leads to more freedom. So regardless of where you are in your business, scaling isn't about doing more. That's the overarching headline today. It's about doing things differently. It's about creating a business that grows without losing and what makes it special. And that's exactly what we're going to cover in this session. So today we will cover how to scale without losing the personal touch, the transition from one-to-one to scalable offers, building trust and nurturing your audience, smart pillars to simplify and automate growth, value-driven marketing for sustainable success, and keeping clients engaged and supported at scale. So there are 5 stages of business, and every business goes through these stages of growth. No one jumps from just starting out to total freedom overnight. This is how it actually works. You're hustling to get clients when you're starting out and doing everything yourself. Then you're getting a bit of traction, but feeling stuck in the cycle of more clients, more hours. Then you've got steady income, but maybe you're maxed out with your diary, and you start implementing systems around here, automations, leveraging your time, your knowledge, your wisdom, your resources to eventually get to the freedom where you can work less, earn more, still deliver great results. But the problem is usually most people get trapped in the push mode, grinding away, but never moving forward. So the secret to breaking through is learning to scale smartly. But there's a big myth. Success is not a straight line. It might be easy for you to think that scaling and business growth is a straight upward climb, but it isn't. In reality, it looks more like a wiggly, often unpredictable path. And I have to laugh. This is my attempt at drawing the illustration that I have in my brain, okay? But I had to do it with a mouse mat the size of a tea bag. So, please excuse me for my efforts. But this is also known as the Dunning-Kruger effect, where we start down here with, okay, great, let's do this. I'm motivated, I'm ready for some learning. And I'm learning so much, and I'm going to be a marketing genius in no time. So we're hitting this peak up here. And then very quickly, we're not seeing the fruits of our labor, and we're thinking, oh God, I can't do this. I can't, why isn't this working? Nothing's happening. It's not going fast. What's wrong with me? And why is everybody else doing so well and I'm not? And in my community, we affectionately call this the curve of despair. Okay. And it's around here that people actually quit, which is a really sad thing, because if they could just hold on tight, simplify, be consistent and be patient, and then continue to be consistent and be patient, then eventually you're going to turn a corner. But people assume that they've failed when in reality they just need to tweak and be patient. If you keep going, that's when the breakthrough happens. Scaling is about expecting these moments and knowing how to move through them. So if that's relatable to you, I'd love you to just pop that in the comments that you've experienced the curve of despair. Okay. So let's look at the foundations of scaling without losing the personal touch, right? One of the biggest fears that I hear about scaling is that it means losing the personal connection that you have with clients. But real growth isn't about more clients. Remember, we want to earn more and do less. That's the secret of success. And it's about leveraging your time better. So we want to work smarter, not harder. We want to build systems that support growth, and we want to keep your client's experience personal. Think of it like this: scaling isn't about choosing between personal or profitable. It's about designing a business that can give you both. So if we look at these two business models, on the left-hand side, this is probably what you're most familiar with, the one-to-one business model, where all your one-to-one clients come in through a funnel, and you get this time constraint where you can't actually physically see so many one-to-one clients, or you're starting to feel burnt out. You're creating a bottleneck. Maybe you've got a wait list. These are all your cues to consider scaling. And the scaling model is over there on the right-hand side with that beautiful pyramid with a selection of ways that you can scale your business. If you're fully booked with one-to-one clients, you may think that the only way to grow is to take on more, but I promise you, you will burn out. So instead, you need to shift to this model on the right-hand side that's going to help you reach more people without working more hours. So let's look at 3 ways that you can scale your business. The first model we have is the one-to-many model, where you can keep it intimate with really strong onboarding. So one-to-many would include short, high-impact challenges. These can be paid challenges. Not all challenges are free challenges. Maybe you want to do a 4-week or a 6-week or a 3-month support program. Maybe you want to consider doing a hybrid program. If you don't know what a hybrid program is, it's a combination of group lessons and nipping in to do a Q&A every so often, or maybe you'll give each of your participants a monthly check-in with you that's just one-on-one, so you can hybrid between one-to-one and a group setting. And then of course we've got corporates, where you can go into a corporate setting or host webinars online and talk to workforces, employees, or maybe you could host drop-in clinics in combination with the corporate work, where people get an opportunity to come and chat to you for 30 minutes. And obviously the self-paced courses as well, which is the ultimate hack in our business, is where you can box up all your knowledge, pop it on a shelf, people purchase it and they run with it themselves. So take your knowledge, your wisdom and your resources and make it evergreen. But also we want to keep it intimate with a strong onboarding process. So now let's move on to memberships, which has a wonderful community feel, and you can funnel your group participants into here. So if you're selling group programs, why not tag a paid membership onto the back end of that group program? When they've finished, you just leave them there with that information to find their own way. Give them a community space where they can all chatter amongst themselves. You might want to create a niche membership. So those people that do know me know that I'm the anti-niching business coach, okay, because I know that we're trained to look at people as the whole person and we have to join the dots. But what I promote is the T-shaped nutritionist. So if you don't know what that is, across the top, the horizontal part of a T is a broad knowledge of lots of areas of health and wellness that you're trained in. But you have a deep knowledge vertical part of your T. So why not set up a niche membership that complements your deep knowledge, all the CPD that you love diving into, one particular interest that you have in a particular health concern, and set up a membership, a paid membership for that. And of course, there's meal planning memberships. There's a very fancy tool out there on the market. I don't know if you've heard of it, That Clean Life. You can set up a meal planning membership quite easily and monetize that and set up the automations behind it to deliver those meal plans to people every month. And you could start with a free community as part of your trust funnel. And if you're seeing those words for the first time, trust funnel, don't worry, I am going to come back and explain what that is in a moment. But if you do create a community, just make sure it's so good that they don't want to leave. Make it high value, make sure they're engaging, and people will stay with you forever, because reoccurring revenue is awesome. And then finally, we've got digital resources that can still be personal if you position them well, if you fully understand the problems and the challenges of who your digital resources are for, who they're relevant for, and if you automate some communications such as welcome emails, check-ins, feedback forms, then you're onto a winner with digital resources where you can scale with those, earn some passive income, but still keep the personal touch as well. So polish up your resources and put them on sale. Scaling isn't about removing yourself from the process. It's about structuring your offers so your time and energy can go further. So moving on to the engine of growth, audience building. And I wonder how many of you have an audience. For example, a YouTube channel with people that are subscribing to your YouTube videos, or email subscribers. How many of you have got an active email list that you're nurturing? How engaged are you with your audience? Because if you don't have an audience, scaling is impossible. I often get asked by new practitioners, brand new, Karen, I want to create a course. I want to create a course and I want to sell it. I've got this brilliant idea to sell a course, but they have absolutely no audience, no subscribers, no followers. And I have to explain to them that if you're going to create this course, which, let's face it, most people will spend 6 months perfecting it until it's beautiful and then put it out for sale, no one's going to buy it. And there's nothing more soul destroying than creating something wonderful and then putting it out there for sale and nobody bites. That's enough for people to just retreat and think, you know what, maybe I'm not cut out for this. So we need to make sure that building your audience is an absolute priority. Most people make the mistake of waiting until they feel ready to build one, or they think that their audience is actually their Instagram followers and they don't migrate those Instagram followers onto a mailing list. And the scary thing is about social media, which I repeat over and over again, is that you don't own your followers. You can get deplatformed at any point. And Mr. Zuckerberg might decide to retire and just turn it off. You know, we've always got a threat of cyber attacks looming. So get those in a nice, safe space and put them on a mailing list where you can nurture them, because your audience isn't just a list of potential buyers. It literally is the fuel that's going to drive your business. So we're going to go back to a previous slide now that I've already showed you. And we're just going to look at these 5 stages of your business again and how your audience fuels your business. When you're starting with the start push phase of your business, that's where you need to be building an engaged audience. You really need to be focusing on that ASAP. And then we can start achieving consistency and thinking about scaling. So you're nurturing that audience that you're building and growing, and have systems in place to be able to do that, like automations and email sequences, which then you can move on to the awesome part of actual freedom. So your audience can drive your growth on autopilot. All you need is a simple funnel where free content builds trust and paid offers provide solutions. And I'll be showing you a simple funnel example in a moment. So scaling without overwhelm, this is the framework that you need. There's 3 pillars, but scaling doesn't mean working harder. It means setting up some smart systems that let your business run more smoothly and in a way that respects your time and your energy. So the 3 pillars. We have automations, which I've mentioned a dozen times already. If you're not automating your admin, then you are heading for burnout. Okay. And next we have boundaries and pricing. This is a really biggie. You know, I see so many practitioners over delivering and giving more than they should and not charging enough. And value driven marketing. So these are our three pillars that we need to have in place that are going to prop up our business for long-term sustainability. So for automations, for boundaries, we're going to start with boundaries. Higher fees attract better clients, okay? And I know you know that. I know you know that if you discount your one-to-one services, if you're undercharging, I know it's niggling you. And I know that you get better clients when you have a higher price tag, because those clients are way more invested in the commitment of the transformation. So really do remember that, and think about price increases. Always be moving forward. So higher fees attract better clients, and that ties into boundaries and pricing. And then we've got our value-driven marketing, where you're focusing on bringing in aligned clients. So all of your marketing needs to be bringing in people that truly understand what you do, that have a feel for what your approach is, that are following you, that are starting to trust you. And we're going to talk about that again in a moment. And then we have automations without losing connection, keeping it personal. And when you combine all of these three pillars, the automation, the pricing strategy, and the marketing, you can create a business that grows in a sustainable way without exhausting yourself. So I mentioned a trust funnel. You're like, Karen, what's a trust funnel? Yeah, that's another gimmicky word that I've got to remember. What is it? But I think you probably already know what it is. You just haven't defined it yet. So this is a trust funnel. This is a helicopter view looking straight down into a funnel. People will buy from you if they know, like, and trust you. So I don't know if some of you feel like quite icky about sales. You don't want to be that double glazing salesman. You don't want that pushy sales vibe. Or maybe you know that actually you're not selling enough because your inquiries aren't converting into clients. And that's likely because your trust hasn't been built yet with those clients. But the good news is a simple trust funnel can make selling really effortless. A trust funnel is how you grow without feeling salesy. And this is an example of a trust funnel. Start with some free content, a lead magnet, a low priced offer, which leads into a high priced offer. So most people need multiple touch points before they're ready to buy. And a trust funnel, like this example, guides them naturally from being curious to committed without any of the pushy sales tactics. You just bring them in saying, hey, I've got this valuable resource that I think you might enjoy. Do you want it? And they're like, yeah, okay, I'll have it. Sure, give you an email address, take the free resource. And then you might throw another lead magnet at them, or maybe a bonus, or a little gift a couple of days later. Or maybe you've set up an email sequence that says, hi, I'm just checking in on that freebie that you grabbed the other day. How are you getting on? Hit reply to this email. I'd love to hear from you. And then maybe you can lead into, I've got this small package here available. I've got a diet diary review, or I've got this mini course, or I've got this challenge coming up, low price ticket offer. I think you would be a good fit for it. Why don't you have it? Do you want to have a look? Here's the sales page, have a read, tell me what you think. And then at the end of that low priced offer, you funnel them into a higher priced offer. So this isn't rocket science. When you see it laid out like this, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Free content, lead magnets, low priced offer, funnel them into a high priced offer. But we do want to keep it personal. That's what this session's all about. How do we lose the personal touch? So just because you're scaling, it doesn't mean you can stop making people feel valued. This is how you keep things personal even while you're growing. So we want to use personalized automations like smart email sequences. So if you've got some fancy software like MailChimp or MailerLite, ClickFunnels, that kind of stuff, you can set up some automated email sequences to nurture those people. And what about onboarding messages as well? How many are you using Practice Better and using the email confirmation template for people that on board with you to personalize that email? Or are you using the standard Practice Better template, just sending them that, hi, you bought this package, here's your confirmation, thanks, goodbye? What about if we did something really magical in there? I'm really happy to have you. Here's some guidelines. If you need to reach out to me, this is how you get in touch. And by the way, have you seen this as well? Maybe a little upsell in that email that they send straight from Practice Better. So there's loads of opportunities to automate your personalization. And then small group programs as opposed to massive impersonal ones, so that you can keep the engagement high. When you create a group program, I think it's always a good idea to run a pilot launch of it. Say a maximum of 10, test drive it with that 10, keep it intimate, keep the engagement high, get a load of positive feedback, tweak that group program, and then put it back on sale again with all the improvements. Okay, that's another way to keep your services personalized, is keep them small to begin with. And intentional touch points. So birthday messages. How many of you send a little email or a birthday card to your clients? I know in Practice Better on the calendar, it flags up your clients' birthdays. Who's using that? Having a little check-in with people. If they've just had a lead magnet, if they bought your low ticket offer, if they've bought your group program, and maybe you can see that there's not much engagement, maybe you could time an automated email to be sent to all participants 7 days after the group program starts, saying, hi, I just want to check in and see how you got on in the first week. People love that stuff, and surprise bonuses in your email sequences or in your automations in Practice Better. You can drop in some extra guides that they weren't expecting, or a meal plan, or here's my top 10 pantry items. If you can get creative and think about all the stuff that you're probably doing anyway on a one-to-one level, and put them into your automations in a smart way to nurture bigger audiences. And people, you need to remember this as well, people don't tend to remember what you do as much as how they remember how you made them feel. And all these little magical touch points make them feel really good. They make them feel special. So scaling just means being strategic about where and how you create those memorable moments. So here's where to start with 3 actionable steps that you can take away and put into practice. Pick one trust building strategy, like some content, maybe for your YouTube channel. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. I don't know, that's scary, but you might want to do that. Lead magnets. Okay, pick one and identify one offer that you're going to optimize and simplify and refine. So you're picking one trust building strategy, which might be a lead magnet, that leads into one offer to optimize, simplify, and refine. Okay, and that might be just a challenge, a paid challenge. Come and join my 2-week sugar-free challenge. It's only £27 a head, or dollars, wherever you are. And set up one system that saves time with your automations and templates. I've given you loads of little tips there of what you can do if you're using Practice Better or MailerLite or MailChimp. And go and have a look at what you can do to automate some of this stuff so everybody feels really special. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight, by the way. Just take one step forward today. So the final takeaways are: more isn't better, better is better. A lot of better going on here, isn't there? Practice better, more isn't better, better is better. And leverage over hustle. And you can grow without losing what makes your practice special. Scaling isn't about working yourself into exhaustion. It's about refining your business so it works for you, not just because of you. And the goal is to create a practice that thrives without sacrificing your time and energy or the personal touch that makes your work so impactful. So I'm going to take some questions. I have left a decent amount of time at the end of this session for questions because I feel like that's where the magic happens. But I have got this smart scaling checklist for you to download. If you scan that QR code, it's going to take you to a page to put your email address in. Do you see what I'm doing here? Lead magnet. Okay. You can scan this, download this super duper smart scaling checklist, which I think you're going to love. And in a couple of days' time, I'm going to get in touch with you and see how you're getting on and possibly drop another valuable resource into your inbox. Okay, so we are ready for questions, Emma.
Yes. Thank you so much for that, Karen. I learned so much, and I'm not even a practitioner. It's just you have great advice. We had a question from Dan. He asked if you could provide an example of the T-shape of the niche and refocusing it to an audience.
Yeah, so Dan, actually, I've got my own personal T-shape on my website, on my blog. So if you wanted to go and have a look at the T-shape that I use in my personal practice, please do. So across the top of my T-shape, the horizontal, I like working with people that are menopausal, gut health, skin issues, autoimmune, and men's health. Those are my favorite types of cases. but I have a really in-depth knowledge of the connection between gut and skin, so eczema and stool testing. I'm really fascinated by it, and I attract a lot of clients for that, and get some really good results. So that's my deep knowledge area of my tea. So if I was going to set up a community that was niched, so they could all talk to each other and support each other with that one specific problem that they're dealing with, I would probably go with that because I have the deep knowledge in that area. And when you're creating your T-shape for your business, it's as much about the people that you don't want to work with as much as it is the people that you would love to work with. So you won't see fertility on my T-shape because I'm not interested in that. I don't have children. I can't really relate to those people. And there are plenty of excellent practitioners that are out there that do focus on that. So I hope that explained for you, Dan, the T-shaped concept.
Awesome. Yeah, that was an amazing explanation. I really hope that that was helpful for you there, Dan. We can go on to our next question. I really hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Sinija, Karen, what are your thoughts on closed Facebook groups as a tool for building an audience? Say something focused, women's health or children's health. As an NTI, I would run it, moderate, respond to questions related to diet and lifestyle for that specific theme / group / audience.
Yeah, so I think that Facebook groups, closed Facebook groups, are really, really good to get the community in there so that you can build trust and get them to know and like you. It's like it's the start of your funnel, and then you can move them into a small offer that's a low ticket offer, and then progress them into bigger offers further on. Or maybe they'll just jump in straight one-to-one with you. There are downsides to using Facebook. In the sense of course, there's the deplatforming issue. As health practitioners, we have to be very careful about certain words that get flagged up. I don't think we're allowed to use things like fat loss or weight loss and things like that. So there's always those sort of little worries that I think about with Facebook groups. But also they can be quite distracting as well. So, they may be heading to your group thinking, oh, I haven't been in there for a while. Let's see what everyone's chatting about. But then they've got 10 red light notifications from somebody's holidays that they've been on, and they get distracted, and then before you know it's tea time and they've forgotten about your community. So I think with any community though, wherever you host it, you need to make sure that you're dropping stuff in there regularly, content, memes, motivational quotes, commenting and liking, encouraging people to engage.
Awesome. That was great advice. And I also saw that Dan replied in the chat and said, yes, thank you. So your advice was perfect. Thank you so much again. We have another question here from Hamad. So I have a lead magnet landing page funnel that sells a fat loss blueprint to a niche audience. Then I have a nurture email sequence, like 5 emails to people who opted in with the lead magnet. Then I check in with them. My main offer is one-on-one personalized coaching for niche audience. Can you help me with some ideas for a low ticket offer that can be used to upsell naturally my main fat loss coaching?
Yeah, I mean, you're rocking it, by the way. I mean, that's incredible what you've set up so far. So think about the lead magnets that you've produced. And if you were to add 75% more onto that lead magnet to actually move them from one place to the next step. So think about the steps that somebody with that problem needs to take to get to their outcome, to get to their main goal. What can you do that will move them along that barometer to that next step? Can you add 75% more context onto that lead magnet? And can you throw in some meal plans and some resources? Maybe you can connect with a PT that can pre-record some workouts and put it into a mini course and give it a fancy title like, your ultimate first step to sustainable weight loss starts here. And today you can get this for £27 or £47. Or, I often get asked, what should I price this at? And it really does depend on how much value perception is attached to that low ticket offer. Will somebody read the sales page and think that's incredible value and I need it? And then maybe from that low ticket offer, you move them into a 3-month or a 6-month personalized program where you collect their macronutrients up in advance and you do some bespoke meal planning and you tailor some workouts and get them in there for them. There's so many different directions you can go with weight loss, but your low ticket offer needs to sit somewhere between your freebie and your main big ticket offer, whatever that might be.
Amazing. That was a very informative response. Thank you. We have another question here from Linda. Do you coach FM health coaches or just nutritionists / nutrition therapists?
So funnily, I started out with nutritionists, but I have hypnotherapists and PTs and breathwork coaches in my community. The content is mostly aimed at nutrition as a modality, but the theories and the strategies that I teach are across the board for all wellness practitioners. When you learn it, it can be applied to any healthcare business. So the short answer to that is yes.
Amazing. Awesome. So, Linda, the answer is yes. We have another question from, again, I hope I pronounced it correctly the first time, Sanija. I am soon to qualify, and I feel the NT market is so saturated. I feel everyone has done every single challenge and ebook and guide. Do you think we would benefit from starting with a step before the how we do it and what we do it? Do you think it is essential to first define why we do what we do? I've been so inspired by Simon Sinek's book, so I'm trying to see if it applies to us as NTs.
So the first thing I want to say to you is I've actually got a really good post on my Instagram page that has the title, Is the Market Saturated? And it isn't. There are, how many billion? I've looked, 66 billion people on the planet, probably more now. And no matter where you are in the world, especially with our line of work, we can work online, so which means we can reach people that are not just in our local community. So the world is literally your oyster, and we have a crisis in the world when it comes to healthcare at the moment. People not taking care of themselves, they're stressed. So with the scarcity mindset of thinking, is this saturated, is there enough business out there for me? There absolutely is. You just need to get your message and your brand and your content in front of as many audiences as possible. So have a think about who you can connect with, who you can leverage that has got a ready-made audience, who can you collaborate with so you can position yourself in front of them. And if you're worried that you've got a practitioner that's in your hometown that's got the same job title as you, that's got a fancy website, that's been trained the same way as you, and you don't feel like you're going to get a slice of the pie in your area, please remember that people will gravitate towards you because you are you. Nobody can do what you do the way that you do it, and that's your superpower, right? So you have your own style, your own personality, your own sense of humor, your own approach, your own thoughts, your own spiky point of view in your practice, which will be completely different to that practitioner that's in the same hometown as you, that's been trained the same way and has the same job title. So there is enough to go around for everybody, but you have to be visible. I don't know if I've answered the second part of that question because I've got a bit distracted with the scarcity and the saturated part. Emma, is there another part to that question?
So the saturated, I feel everyone has done every single challenge. Do you think it's essential to first define why we do what we do? And they have been really inspired by Simon Sinek's book and see if that applies to nutritional therapists.
Yes, well, yes, it will apply to you. I think Simon Sinek's brilliant. I love his approach, but there's lots of other people that have got different ways of approaching business and marketing and messaging. And I think you just need to find the right person for you that resonates with you. And if it's Simon that resonates with you, follow his lead. You'll know if something doesn't sit right. If somebody's saying, right, I want you to walk up and down the high street with a sandwich board, you'll be like, not sure if that's for me. So, take what you want from Simon's advice and his lead and then implement it. But the great thing about us is that we're in charge. It's our business. We can pivot whenever we want to. We can change direction with our marketing. We can change our brand colors if we want. No one's the boss of us. So just roll with it. And if it's working, keep doing it. If it's not working, just check that you're not giving up too soon. You're about to come out of the curve of despair, and go with what feels right. But ultimately, you need to get in front of audiences and you need to be visible and you need to be brave. Okay. And I say brave because a lot of us don't like jumping on camera or doing Facebook Reels or YouTube videos or public speaking. Okay, but once you've done it, confidence comes after you've taken the action. Okay.
That was an incredible response. And they responded in the chat. Makes sense, Karen. Thank you for a detailed response. So I think you
Well,
provided a lot of value there. Thank you so much. Can we take a moment to smile about her beautiful accent? I could listen all day. Same. I could also, it was amazing to not only take in all of that really valuable information, but to hear your voice. And I saw someone in the chat earlier say, your accent saying easy peasy lemon squeezy just made their day. So we just got another question in the chat, which is great because we still have a couple minutes left. If anyone had any additional questions, please let me know. But had another quick question from Hamad. Thank you for your amazing, insightful answer, Karen. Actually added a YouTube video by a PT for beginner workout and basic nutritional guidance in the lead magnet itself. In our core offer, high ticket, we give mostly all the main stuff in the first month, like tailored meal plan, onboarding call, workouts through app, then check-ins. What do you think can be a low ticket here? Would really appreciate your response or any suggestion.
Maybe a small group challenge, maybe a short self-paced course, maybe a set of meal plans and recipes from That Clean Life. What would you pay if you were in their shoes? What would you pay for? But also, what are they telling you they need? What's the most commonly asked question? What's the most common problem that everybody wants a solution to? Pay attention to the comments, or maybe even send a survey out. When was the last time you sent something out and asked them, what are you struggling with right now in terms of your health goals? What's stopping you from getting to where you need to be? I want to hear from you. Let me know, hit reply and see what they're saying. And see if you've got a common theme there as to what it is. It could be something completely off the wall. I can't think of an example for your scenario right now, but I've often been caught by surprise when I say, right, I'm doing a review of my content and I'm planning resources for the year ahead. Tell me what you want. And I'm like, oh, I had absolutely no idea that that's what people are thinking. That's what they're doing. So maybe some feedback from them is going to give you that nudge in the right direction as to what it is you need to create for them. But you've got to find that balance of not under delivering or over delivering or underpricing and overpricing. You kind of got to take a step back and think, right, how much would I love to charge for this low ticket offer? Is it 27, 37? Notice all my numbers end in sevens. I don't know why that is. And then 47. And just make sure that when they get it, they're not underwhelmed. So you may want to test it out with one of the members, get them to test drive it with you and say, look, I've created this. This is the price tag. I want you to run with it. Give me some feedback on what you think of this incredible resource that I'm going to pitch to my audience. And just take some feedback. But I think you have to listen to the people that you're serving to get the answers that you're looking for.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was a really great point that you made. At the beginning of your response when you said like, what would you want to buy? And I was like, that's such a great question to ask as well when you're putting those offerings out there. It's like, what would I, as a customer, want to put my money into? I love that. Thank you so much, Karen. We did just get a couple more coming in. We have a question from Monica. Do we need MailChimp for automations? I've gone to PB alone, but feel I may need extra.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it if Practice Better had some kind of, I don't know, integrations to some of these fancy softwares that we have, like, hint, hint, Practice Better if you're listening, but, like a MailChimp integration or a MailerLite, or even a way to be able to set up some email sequences. I would love that. But at the moment, you need some kind of e-marketing platform like MailChimp or MailerLite. I mean, I teach MailerLite in my community. It's a free platform up to 1,000 subscribers, and it does automated emails, and you can do landing pages for your lead magnets, and you can do your newsletters, and you can segment people. So, if you're looking for something that you don't have to pay for, because, we've already got so many things that we have to pay out for as business owners, then definitely look at MailerLite. And yeah, you just need to get that lead magnet, get the landing page, ready. That's the gatekeeper before they get the lead magnet. You can set the automation up for the lead magnet to be delivered to people that request it, and then they automatically get put into an email sequence where you can nurture them.
Awesome. That is some great advice, and we'll definitely take that feedback. Love it. I have a question from Jordan Bruce. They were asking, how do we get that checklist? Is that just with your QR code right there, Karen?
Yeah, and I think I saw somebody drop the link into the chat. I think
Okay.
Gloria
Was that
dropped
the,
it.
yes, the why niching isn't the formula for success? Is that the
Oh
correct
no,
one?
it isn't. No, that's my
Okay.
article off my blog page.
Oh,
I
Jordan can get the QR code. They said, oh, thank you, duh. No worries, Jordan. No worries. Jordan also said Flowdesk is amazing, but expensive. That wasn't a
yeah,
question, but
it is. I
that's
agree.
okay.
That, yeah, and they get you on the fancy stuff as well. They get you onto like the low price, and then you suddenly realise that all the functionality you need, you've got to upgrade to get the good stuff. So
Awesome. I think that was all of the questions that we got in the Q&A so far, but we're running pretty good for time. We have about 3 minutes left. Karen, is there anything else that you wanted to say before we head out for the day?
no, not. I don't have anything else to add on what I've already talked about, but what I can tell you is that smart scaling checklist is going to expand a lot more on what it is you actually need to do so you can work through and start implementing it. And then I'm dropping another checklist into your inbox in a couple of days' time, specifically on lead magnets, so that you can just have a look to see if it's valuable, if it's what people are looking for, what makes a good lead magnet, and there's a checklist for that as well. And follow me on social media, just because I do share my events, my offers, and a ton of valuable content on there. You're going to be on my mailing list if you download this smart scaling checklist, so you're not going to hear the end of me. So just have a mooch around on my website and see if there's anything on there that can help you guys. You are all at different stages of your business. I know that because I grilled Gloria before I came in here to see who was, who was attending. So there's something for everybody on my website if you want to go and have a look at that.
Awesome. I'm just going to throw that on the ticker right here. So if anyone is on their laptop, they are able to actually click the link right on the ticker there. It'll take you to Karen's Instagram where you can give her a follow and keep up with everything that she's doing, keep up with all of the amazing offerings that she gives out. And yeah, Karen, honestly, it was so amazing to have you here today. We had so much love for you in the chat and for your accent, which is so cute. Brilliant presentation. Thank you so much, Karen. People definitely gained a lot from you today, and we really appreciated having you here.
Oh, that's my pleasure, and have a lovely rest of your day. It's approaching bedtime over here in the UK, but you've got some more sessions to go to. So have a great time, everyone, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Oh, Arena said, I think this has been one of the best talks.
Oh, Arena, thank you.
That's so sweet. That's so awesome. Yeah, just to let everybody know, we are just going to run into a quick break once we hit 3:45, and we'll be starting back up again at 4 p.m. Again, Karen, that was amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you brought today, and I look forward to following along on social media as well.
Thank you. Take care. Bye, Emma. Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Have a great rest of your day.